Are we ready for some fun? All right. I want to introduce you to Shar Smith. She will be welcoming you all.
So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Culture Impact Team School Board Forum for District 20. And so just a couple of housekeeping announcements. We want to let you know that there are restrooms in the back and to the left out those doors. And then also this direction, the far doors to your left over there. And so if you need those facilities, that's where they're located. Also, please put your cell phones on mute or shut them off. And then finally, if you have children that are in child care here, that will be ending at 8:30 p.m. So please go and get your kids out of the child care prior to or just by that time. And now I just want to open in prayer and we'll do the pledge. So Father, in the name of Jesus, we give you this evening and this time and this meeting. And Lord, we just ask that you would have your way in the midst of it, because you are King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and there is none like you. We give you this time, we give you all the honor and the glory for it, and we covered it in the blood of Jesus. And so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Ken Davis. I am here with the Culture Impact Team for Church for All Nations. I'm going to begin by introducing all of the candidates. These are all, if you have not figured this out, District 20 candidates. All of them. District 20 candidates. So I'm going to run through and introduce them, and then I will run through some of the rules. Candidate number 1 is Tiana Clark. I think Tiana brought a fan club. All right. Candidate number 2 is Brian Quorum. Okay, where's the Ken Davis fan club? Raise it up. All right, candidate number 3 is Nathan Johnson. Candidate number 4 is Nicole Kahns. Candidate number 5 is Thomas Levalley. Candidate number 6 is Jackie Lesh. I guess they just love you all. Candidate number 7 is Lindsay Moore. Candidate number 8 is Michael Riffle. That's family fans. Candidate number 9 is Aaron Salt. And candidate number 10 is Jason Silva. Okay, so I'm going to outline the rules. Most of them have already been given the rules, but for the sake of you all, I will repeat them. Our first round will be a lightning round. During that round, you will raise your hand for yes, you will keep your hand down for no. Got it? Yes? No. That couldn't be any simpler. Perfect. After that, each candidate will be given 1.5 minutes for introductions or opening statements. After that, we will then go into our Q&A. Now, let me tell the crowd, due to time restraints, there will not be an open Q&A time. If there's something that you would like to ask a specific candidate, each one of them has a table out in the foyer. At the end of the forum, they will be released. We will have some announcements, and then we will allow you to go out and have your own time with the candidates. We recommend that if you've not done so, go to their websites, call them or email them. You need to do your own research. This is kind of an overview, but you really need to personally research the candidates themselves. Is that okay? All right, so don't come running up here saying I have a question, because I'm going to send you back to your seat. Just letting you know. So during the Q&A, each candidate will be given 2 questions. The first question will be a policy question. All of the candidates have been given the policy questions already. So they had time to prepare for those, unless they wanted to sleep, because we sent it to them pretty late. The second set of questions will be character questions. Those questions they have not seen ahead of time. I would hope they know their own character. Man, they didn't find that funny. All right. And so after we've done that, at that point we will allow them to all rise and go to their tables, give them about 5 minutes or so to get set up, and then we'll release you. Please understand that we have people in the room that work here, and these folks would like to go home at some point tonight. So, try not to be here till midnight asking Jason, about his family and how his family's going to help him run the school board. Right? Please be mindful of all the other people, especially those that are here working after we finish. So are we ready? All right, somebody give me I need to see just a quick example of how the lightning round will go. If it's a yes, if it's a no, they're ready. All right, everyone please give our candidates a hand. We'll keep this simple. Lightning round question is, and I will ask all 3 pretty quickly. You've already answered probably these questions a million times, so we thought we'd make it easy for you. Do you support mask mandates? Do you support vaccine mandates? Do you support critical race theory? Okay, with that said, I would like to begin opening statements. They will each have 1.5 minutes. Your timekeeper is directly in front of you. She has a flag. I'm going to do this now so I don't have to do this later. I am taking executive privilege. If anyone goes beyond 3 seconds of the flag waving, I am asking that the sound man mute the mic. If you want to hear pontification, you will have time to go out in the lobby and have that time with the individual candidates. So we will begin our opening remarks. We will start all the way down at the end with Jason. 1.5 minutes, go ahead.
Everybody, my name is Jason Silva. I am not a politician. This is the first time I've ever run for anything. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a former Marine. I served in the United States Marine Corps in the infantry. Deployed in OAF-1. Upon returning home, I was a police officer for my hometown, the city of Richmond, California. There I served as a police officer, training officer, homicide detective, on the SWAT team for 7 years, and various other things. So I am a father of 4. I have 4 beautiful little daughters and been with my wife since 2003. So I got interested in running for the board just recently. Obviously, when the pandemic started and things started happening at a very rapid pace and things started deteriorating, I decided to really pray hard on it, think about what I was going to do, and I wanted to make a difference, and this led me to where I'm at now. I entered the race really late, but I had a lot of support from parents and faculty members from the district who sought me out. They are very concerned about the direction where the district was going, where some of the schools were going, and I felt if not me, then who? So I decided to take it upon myself. I need to look in my mirror every single day, be example to my children, be example for everyone else out there, and step up and be a leader. And that's where I'm at now, and this is why I'm here. And I hope everyone comes and talks to me and speaks, asks questions, and go from there. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Salt, and many of you know me. Many of you have heard me speak in this very building on multiple occasions. Many of you know that I'm a father of 4, D20 charter school founder, and a staunch advocate of parental rights. If you haven't heard me address these topics, I would love the opportunity to share with you afterwards. However, tonight I want to share with you my passion and my values. I have been and always will be an outspoken advocate of parental rights, quality education, and American freedom. I stand for integrity. Unlike most of the candidates up here, I have a public voting record from the time that I served on the charter board, which shows I have never once neglected my values. Every vote I made has protected parental rights, advanced student outcomes, and upheld my core values. When our state legislature decided to stack parental right bills into a single committee, it was dubbed the Slate of Hate, my wife and I spent our Valentine's Day at the Capitol testifying until after 1 a.m. We knew these bills didn't stand a chance in the Kill Committee, but we were not going to let parental rights be denied without a fight. I am passionate about quality education. When my oldest was 2, I was asked to join the board for the charter school startup. My wife thought I was crazy and said, "But what if we don't like the school for our kids?" I said, "It's not about our kids. It's about making sure we have quality opportunities for every student in our community." Again, many of you know me. Many of you have stood with me, and I ask that you stand with me again, with our parents and with our students for freedom. Thank you.
Number 8, please just grab the mic and begin.
Good evening, everybody. Name's Mike Riffle. I'm from Utah, grew up in Utah, and I'm an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I say that because that's where I learned service. Because of that, I joined the military 25 years in. I became a Green Beret. I was a Green Beret, graduated in 1998, and I still serve in the California National Guard as a warrant officer with that unit. Why is that important? That's why I'm here. People have asked me a lot, why are you running for school board? Nothing more important than service to your community. I've served my community in the military, I've served my community in my religious organizations, and I want to serve my community on the school board. Now, I'm not much different than a lot of people up here. I don't know them well, but what I do value is honesty. What I promise to give everybody if I am elected to the school board is honesty. I will tell you what is happening, I will send out the emails, and I will take the time to talk to each one of you. That is more important to me than trying to hide any kind of values just so I can be elected again. I'm not here to be a politician. I'm here because I care about the parents. I'm here because I care about the kids. You can see that our society is heading down a direction that I am not comfortable with for my children in school. If you agree with that statement, I ask that you vote for me. If you want to read more about me, you can go to my website, mikeriffle.org, and you can read along as we go through this debate. I appreciate everybody who came out tonight as active voters, and the red flag is up, so I don't get to talk anymore.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lindsay Moore. I am a native Coloradan. I have 2 kids. They are 10 and 6, and I've lived in D20 for 7 years. I'm a mom, I'm a military wife, and I am a fierce advocate for our kids. I have spent the last 18 months advocating for our kids. I've worked with Dr. Gregory in December of 2020 to achieve the goal of getting 100 substitute teachers in our classrooms to get our kids back in class in January of 2020. I'm sorry, 2021. We switched, December, January 2021. I'm a leader in the community by bringing together parents and creating community groups across the Front Range and bringing legislation to push back on unlawful mandates and actions, as well as a leader in our military community with our family readiness groups. I've volunteered in classrooms, I've worked with the PTO, I've run with your 3rd graders and 4th graders in Land Sharks. I wanted to make sure that those kids were taken care of, and those kids are fast. just so you know. And our kids are our greatest resource, and they should be protected as such. I'm here as a parent. I'm not here as a politician. And if you vote the same, you're going to get the same. But if you vote more, you're going to get more.
Good evening. My name is Jackie Lesh, and I currently have 3 kids in District 20 schools. I have a 9th grader, a 6th grader, and a 3rd grader. I get to hit all the schools this year. When my oldest started kindergarten, I had no idea what schools were like anymore, and I wanted to find out more. So I became involved. I joined the PTA, eventually becoming president, vice president, and secretary. I joined the El Paso Council PTA. I joined the District Accountability Committee, the Budget Subcommittee, and School Accountability Committees. I really wanted to know what was going on in the schools and how I could be involved. I used my master's degree to get a licensed guest staff and taught in District 20. I've taught their summer school preschool program, and I've also did my student teaching in the district. I currently teach special needs preschoolers through Head Start, and I really enjoy working with kids in all aspects of the education system. Through my involvement in the schools, I became an engaged parent, an experienced educator, and an informed member of our community. I am in the classrooms daily, working with staff, students, and their families to provide the best education possible to each of those students' needs. As a board member, I will be a champion for education initiatives and promote achievement for all students. Through my district involvement as a licensed educator, volunteer, and a parent, I bring a wealth of knowledge in education. Thank you.
My name is Tom Levalley, and I am running for re-election. 4 years ago, at a district forum, I said the following, quote, "What will I bring to the board? Excellence and accountability. And the board is accountable to you, the voters, taxpayers, and parents of D20. I will ask the tough questions that need to be asked and hold our district to the highest standards. I want parents to continue to be able to tailor their child's education to meet their unique learning styles and passions. I will be a board member who can stay within a budget and spend your tax dollars wisely," end quote. I have done what I have promised. I have asked the hard questions. I have held the district accountable. I take my role as an elected official very seriously, and frankly, anybody who's been to a board meeting knows that. A little bit of background. I've been married to my wife, Nona, for 39 years, and I have 4 adult children. I graduated from the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1982, and I also have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I'm a retired Air Force reservist. I've been a pilot with United Airlines for 30 years, and I've lived in the same house for 29 years. Before being elected to the D20 board, I served on the board of the Classical Academy Public Charter School for 3 years, 2 years as the board chair. COVID has disrupted everything. I oppose the mask mandate, and if brought to a vote, I will vote to end it. Please know I have not lost sight of your child's education. The goal is to have all of our children graduate with the knowledge, skills, and character necessary to be productive, successful citizens. If reelected, I promise those will stay my top priorities. I value your support and your vote. Thank you.
My name is Nicole Kahns, and I am a freedom fighter. I have always had an abiding sense of needing to use my free will for spreading truth at any cost. Gratitude for this God-given life and living in the United States of America compels me to never shy away from an issue with which my family or community is faced. Issues that strip away our joy, our honor, our liberty. 2 weeks ago, I heard about the despicable Healthy Kids survey exposing our middle schoolers to questions like, did you drink alcohol or use drugs before you had sex last time? And I notified friends in the district immediately. I wrote a letter to the principal and the superintendent, as I'm sure others did, and in 2 days, I received a call saying our superintendent had opted out the entire district from this survey this year. We caught it just in time, and we won. Last summer, I could not stand idly by while our kids were missing out on life. I gathered like-minded families where we'd meet and brainstorm how we were going to facilitate the most abundant life possible for our children. The kids formed a band since it had been removed from schools for over a year. They practiced every week and performed an amazing Christmas concert for a packed house during the lockdown. Nothing was going to stop me from living life the way God calls us to live, in freedom and courage and community. Throughout the state mandate, I braved businesses without a mask. It would take me 2-3 days sometimes to get up the courage, but I refused to comply with arbitrary, immoral, unhealthy, and illegal restrictions. I don't hesitate to call out our leaders for their cowardice.
Hey everybody, my name is Nathan Johnson, and I'm happy to be here. I'm glad you all are here. So a little about me. I have my undergraduate in education, my master's degree in education technology, 40 plus hours here at the district for continuing ed postmasters. So I taught in this district for 6 years, coached football for 13 years here. This is the first year I haven't coached because I'm hoping to be on a school board and just wouldn't have time for both. So that's a little bit about me, my background. So when I taught high school, and my favorite class was actually health class. I was a PE health teacher. And at that time, my favorite class was teaching sex ed, believe it or not. And at that point, gender and sex actually meant the same thing. But now it's very different, and that has me very concerned. Because I think what's happening in our schools with the comprehensive sex ed program passed down from the state, that I think parents need to have a choice in what their kids learn, whether it's kindergarten, I guess elementary, not kindergarten necessarily, elementary, middle school, high school. Parents should have to opt their kids into a health sex ed program or any program involving gender talk or sexuality. Because I don't think it's in D20 at this point, but some schools, they're slipping in some horrible books for middle schoolers. In D49, there was an 8th grader we know who read a book and brought it to his parent, and it was highly inappropriate. There might be kids here, so I'm not gonna go into it. But I think one big thing we need to do is give choice back to the parents, whether it's vaccines, masks, quarantines, sex ed, any type of sensuality going on in classes. Parents need to be notified. Parents need to make that choice. All right, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Quorum, and I'm excited for this opportunity to speak with you all this evening. I am a D20 graduate myself. I started in kindergarten at Frontier Elementary, went through Timberview Middle School, graduated from Liberty. My own children attend D20 schools, and thanks to the choice program, they actually started that in kindergarten themselves, so I was really thankful for that. My background has primarily been in mental health and counseling. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology from Colorado State University, went on to get a master's in family studies and youth development in Kansas State University, and then I also have a school counseling background from Adams State University, which have all prepared me for my current career in real estate. I know it sounds ridiculous, but people cry a lot more when they're looking for a house right now. Seriously, it's terrible. I intend to serve the children and families of D20 by bringing the concern of emotional well-being to the forefront. We all know that last year was a difficult year across the board, and so it's more important than ever that we focus on getting our students back on track, dealing with learning loss, dealing with emotional health, and making sure that they are prepared to be the best students they can possibly be. My goal is simple, to ensure that I bring a well-measured and well-reasoned voice to the board in order to better support all of our children and to set every student up for success following their graduation. Thank you. I look forward to speaking more.
Good evening, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Tiana Clark, and I am the best candidate because I have the experience, I have the most longevity in the community, and I believe that kids come first. It's usually a cliche, kids first. We hear that all the time. And right now, I'm not hearing as much about kids. We're hearing other policies, things in the news. We need to get the focus back to where it goes. The kids, and additionally, the teachers. We need to make sure that we are retaining our teachers and giving our teachers the same support emotionally, and with resources so that they can keep our kids learning and helping them from learning loss. My background, my kids are third generation District 20 students. My dad was born and raised in Black Forest. I graduated from Liberty. My kids go to Rampart and Chinook Trail Middle School. I am the current District Accountability Committee parent co-chair. I have more than 13 years of committee experience within District 20. My degree, undergrad, is in finance. My master's is in global management. So I am a good candidate to look at those finances.
Okay, thank you all candidates, thank you. So the Q&A time will actually be lottery style. Again, they are aware of this, and so I'm going to draw a card, whatever number I pull, that is the candidate that will be answering the question. Each candidate will field 2 questions, as I mentioned earlier. Now let's hope I don't get 10 first like I've been doing. All right, Thomas Levalley. You got the, you pulled the golden ticket. You got the Ken Davis question.
It's all good.
What are the 5 liberties mentioned within the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution?
I actually knew these by heart. I want to make sure I knew them, but I also wrote them down. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to petition the government for the redress of grievances. And it says Congress will make no law respecting the establishment of, excuse me, and I was goofing up. Respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, and the right to peaceably assemble. I think I said all 5. Yep.
You have 2 minutes. Feel free to elaborate. All right. I'm just saying. All right.
Make sure you say the number, too.
Oh, thank you. Number 8, Michael Riffle. How does the Colorado Constitution describe your authority as a member of the school board?
So the Colorado Constitution says that the local school board is going to be in charge of the curriculum for that school. They are not allowed to come in and tell us how to do that. That's the blunt, short answer of that. What I like about that is that when you get people in there that have the same mentality of you, that our kids do not need to be a social experiment for the government, or our kids do not need to be exposed to things that they cherish on the left, that we, if you elect the right officials, you have the voice to stop that in your school. That is why voter turnout is so important. There are multiple candidates up here, I'm one of them, that will prevent that from happening from the state and the federal government. I will fight that. I will not allow that to happen, and I will protect the kids the best I can from that coming in. Nobody needs to be taught that they are anything other than a child that can succeed in the great nation that we exist. That is it. Do the work, go to school, learn, become a productive member of society. That's all I have.
Number 4, Nicole Kahns. What authority does the superintendent of the school board have over the school board? Please elaborate on the role of the superintendent as it relates to the school board.
The board's sole employee is the superintendent, and they oversee the hiring, review, and firing of that position. The board will direct the operational organization only through the superintendent. They support his management of operations. Only official decisions of the board acting as an entity are binding on the superintendent. The superintendent carries out the policies of the board and should not unilaterally enact any policies without a board vote.
Number 7, Lindsay Moore. Given that there are state mandate programs that teach and promote ideology grounded in critical theory, what is your plan to remove them from the schools in your district?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Sometimes you can hear me without the microphone. So, can you repeat the question because I didn't have the mic, just really quick?
It's okay, because I'm going to change the question.
Oh, it's a game of poker up here.
There we go. Under what circumstance would you vote to terminate your superintendent?
Okay, so as we just discussed, our superintendent, he works for the school board, right? So he is hired and fired by the school board. He works for you and me, the taxpayers. If the super violates any policy made by the board, violates direct orders from the board, or violates the law, he can then be terminated. The board will notify the super if his contract is up for renewal every year in December, and you all need to know that. As of January 31st, the board can notify the superintendent whether or not they're going to renew his contract. And I will tell you that when we have a board that is going to make a public vote on something, and the superintendent goes above and beyond what the board says or doesn't say, that superintendent should be notified that he has taken the authority away from the board. Right now, we have a superintendent who decided that he was going to put masks on all our kids. The board did not vote on that. There is no public vote that happened on that. If I was on that board, I would force a public vote. I would ask every time we had a board meeting, I want to vote. I want to know why you're doing this to our kids. You should not let the superintendent have the latitude to create his own policy.
Man, I missed the end of that. Good job, crowd.
Oh, sorry.
Number 1, Tiana Clark. Given that there are state mandate programs that teach and promote ideology grounded in critical theory, what is your plan to remove them from the schools in your district?
Critical theory is a topic that's been coming up in the media. It's been a hot topic. The curriculum guidelines are issued by CASB, the state, and it is the district responsibility to follow those guidelines. The guidelines do not necessarily include critical theory, as in critical race theory, that has been coming up in the topics. So my belief is that because that is not something that is being done in the state right now, there is nothing to remove. With that being said, I do believe in full curriculum that is inclusive of all of our kids. I believe in accurate teaching, in accurate history, and culturally responsive teaching. Now, what that means is that the teachers teach to reflect who is in their classrooms. That might mean, yes, different races, but it also may mean differently abled children. It might mean reading about a fish in the tree with a kid with dyslexia. It is all inclusive. And District 20 is diversifying, and I believe that it is a good thing that is happening.
All right. Let's get one thing clear. There will be no heckling. If it is your decision to heckle, although the FBI is not here, at least not that I'm aware of. I do have people armed, and they are here to make sure that I am safe. So no heckling. We will respect every person up here. The beautiful thing about America is we're not all the same. We don't all think the same, and that's okay. It's when you hear someone else's point of view, you try to understand it, and you come to understand them as someone made in the image of God. Okay? So let's respect the folks up here. Number 6, which is Jackie Lesh. Bible clubs have been taken out of our schools. How will you change the school district's policies to allow full support of the students' constitutional First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and freedom of association?
So as far as I know, we do have some Bible clubs going on at our schools right now. Many of the District 20 schools have a fellowship of Christian athletes that often meet before and after school or during lunchtime. I am definitely in support of clubs that would like to meet before or after school or during their lunch periods. I think they have that right to have any club they want. And the great thing with District 20 is we do offer that choice. We have so many clubs that kids can be a part of. We also have so many after-school activities that kids can join. We also offer so many school choices. We have college, career, and educational classes. We have schools that are for IBS students. We have schools for project-based learning. We have ones with French immersion. We have ones based on dyslexia. That's one thing that I love about District 20 is that we have so much choice. So as a parent, you can choose the school that best supports your student and their needs because every student is different and everyone's needs are different. And I love that we have so many choices between our 39 schools. We also have charter schools that you have an option to join too. So for me, one of the things that I love about District 20, not just the choice, but our amazing teachers. I don't know about you, but over the 10 years my students have been in District 20 schools, we've had some teachers that have really touched our hearts. My kids still mention certain teachers that have really made an impact on their lives. And for me, as a board member, that is my number one priority. We shouldn't have teacher staff shortages. We should have teachers who are paid the benefits packages they deserve. They should be getting the salaries that are comparable to other school districts in the area. We should not have support staff like paras and bus drivers and custodians making less than you do at Taco Bell. So thanks so much.
Number 2, Brian Quorum. The National Organization of Public School Boards is calling on the Biden administration to protect its members from angry mobs of parents who protest against COVID-19 restrictions placed on students and the teaching of critical race theory, characterizing the protests as domestic terrorism. What is your reaction to this suggestion?
I think I want to start this off with, in general, I don't like name calling. So let's take that out there right there. In regards to the suggestion, that is so far out of the board of education for D20. I understand why, but I think that if you really want to talk about that question, every voice should be heard, right? Like that's the goal, is to make sure that we're listening to every parent so we can better serve every student. So I hope that answers that question for you. I actually wanted the next question, so I'm going to take a moment since I'm done with the first one and go into that. Reading and math scores are abysmal. How would we suggest we be corrected? With someone with a mental health background, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we support our students, support their mental health, support their readiness to be learning, because without your basic needs being met, it's impossible for you to learn. We've seen that time and time and time again. It's absolutely critical that our students are prepared to learn before they are sitting in our classrooms to get the education that they need. The way this question was phrased actually hurt my feelings a little bit because I have 2 students. And so I'm reading the question going, They tried so hard. We have to understand that we are living in a pandemic, and they did the best they could. So we really should be encouraging our students and talking them up and saying, hey, this was hard. And you know what? You made it. We are still dealing with this. You are still going to do what you need to do. This is 1 year in your life, and we're going to teach you to grow and learn and get better, and we are going to expand, and you are still going to succeed. That's what's the most important thing, is taking care of our students and making sure at the end of the day, they will thrive.
Circle back means to go back, not ahead. Whatever. I know, it's all good. All right, number 3, Nathan Johnson. You already know the question. Reading and math scores are abysmal.
I might circle back on this one. So, no, but to answer the question, I agree with a lot what Brian said, is there needs to be, it needs to come from all aspects of the school system, and the parents are part of that school system or should be part of that school system. I mean, our D20 grades are above state average, but I think like the proficiency percentages, but I think they can definitely be better. It starts primarily at home with the parents, and the homeschooling and whatever happened in the last 18, 19 months, that's just hard. It's hard. It's not what it's meant to be for most families. So I think getting kids back in school full time with no risk of quarantine would help get the grades back up. And I think getting support in schools as well would help. So if a student's struggling, they can get some help and get back up to where they need to be. So I think that's a big thing that can help with this. And parent involvement and students needing to communicate with their teachers saying, I don't get this, I need help. So, but going back to the FBI thing. So I do think it's not relevant for D20 per se, because we have great parents who keep themselves under control. So, but I do wish the FBI would pay as much attention to like Olympic stuff that happens and just other things that, and like in Loudoun County, that I don't know if you heard of the horrible situation where the school board just ignored. I don't want to, there might be kids here, I'm not going to talk about it, but I think the FBI has bigger things to focus on than some parents getting passionate about their child's education. So, thank you.
All right, number 9, Aaron Salt. Parents do not feel the school boards are listening to them. How would you correct this?
So one thing that I have talked about with many, many community members who have asked very similar questions to me is that I'm a big fan of having regular town hall meetings that we can dialogue and actually get, let everyone have their voices heard. One thing that I have been a huge advocate of, both at the charter school and even now, and what I continue to do, is to be accessible. My cell phone number and my email address are on every one of my flyers, so feel free to grab one and reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. You can be heard. Along with that is this direct communication. Many people who are saying that they don't feel heard are going to board meetings and they're making public comment, and that's one-way communication. They're yelling at the board and they're raising all sorts of fire, but the board already says they're not going to respond to you that night. So there's this disconnect, and when that's all that they're doing, of course they're not going to feel like they're being heard, because they're not reaching out, they're not trying to dialogue, they're not going one-on-one with the superintendent. I have talked to many people who have sat down with Mr. Gregory. Not one person have I talked to that said, I tried to have a meeting with him and he just declined me. Everyone has said he has met with me. And so if you don't feel heard, you're probably not going far enough in actually talking to the people and reaching out and having that one-on-one communication. Since I have just another second, I just want to address this gentleman in the front really quick. Chop on, go Braves. I can't believe we made it through the NLDS.
Wow. Jason, this was not intentional, but you are 10, and you will get our last question during this time. How should the Colorado school districts determine what should be taught and what shouldn't be taught?
Through the parent. That's why we're all up here right now going for election. The one thing I do want to address regarding that is a lot of times they put stipulations, the federal government would put stipulations on the money that gets handed down, and technically that's not correct. I mean, in 1987, the South Dakota versus Dole, there's a Supreme Court decision that said the federal government cannot commandeer the state's, okay, in front of my notes, cannot commandeer the state's policies, and they can't attach anything to this money. In order for them to receive this money, you have to teach this, teach that. You can't do that. So that's one thing that when people kind of forget about. One thing I do want to address real quick is critical theory. It's Marxism. Critical theory is Marxism. Critical race theory is cultural Marxism. DEI is how you get in Marxism without calling it Marxism. So people need to grow up, get a backbone, have some intestinal fortitude, and call it what it is. They're taking the foundation of this country out from under us with Marxism, but they're not calling it that. I am 100% against that. It needs to end.
Okay, everyone, coming from the hip, here are the 10 character questions that you did not get an opportunity to prepare for. Number 9, Aaron Salt. How do you handle confrontation?
Very well, thank you. So I sat as the board chair for a charter school for 3.5 years, and during that time, I had the wonderful duty of being able to speak with parents and community members who were upset. I had lots of confrontation, and the first thing that I did every single time was I listened. That's what I did. In fact, there was one conversation where I did not say a word for over 15 minutes. I checked. I let the gentleman continue to talk, and I listened to everything that he had to say, everything he wanted to tell me, whether I knew it was right, whether I knew it was wrong or not. We had video cameras, so I knew what had already happened. But I listened first. And then once I listen, I talk about what the right conclusion is, what they're trying to accomplish. And then we work towards some middle ground. I understand as I'm not always right. I can do the best that I can. We're all human. And so if I have made a mistake, I own it and we move forward. If the people that work for me have made a mistake, I own it and we move forward. But the first thing we have to do whenever we face confrontation is to listen. Thank you.
Number 4, Nicole Kahns. I will get this right before this night is out. What experience have you had that will make you an effective school board member?
I have, some of you know this, I've had a dual vocation my whole adult life for the last 25 years in youth ministry and business management. I think it's a key combination to be an effective board member. I am passionate about raising up our youth with integrity and personal responsibility and honoring their liberty. And I have just thoroughly enjoyed teaching in the religious sector, education to middle and high schoolers for many years. And it's my joy, it's my passion to raise up our kids right. I have 3 questions that I ask our kids every day, our own daughters. How did you show integrity? What are you proud of academically? And what made you laugh? And I think in a nutshell, that's what I want for all of our children, is that type of focus on character and excellence. My business management degree is pretty diverse, and I will be a strong proponent for managing the budget wisely and frugally while honoring what our teachers need to deliver the best education possible for our students to excel.
Number 1, Tiana Clark. What guides your decision making?
It's a good question. Thank you for having that. My decision making, I am an analyst by nature. I spent 18 years as an insurance analyst, and what I look at first is the big picture. What's the impact going to be? Who will it affect? What are different options we can do to approach the decision? So that's the big picture of what guides me. What I would like to circle back to is the experience question, since I didn't talk a little too much the first opening. With my 13 years of experience, that includes chairing the budget subcommittee for several years. It includes being a paraprofessional in significant support needs in English language learner classes. It includes being on over a dozen district committees. It includes being an advisory on certain tasks, such as the Summit Charter Review Committee, when that was being implemented. So I feel that I am the most well-rounded. I have the parent perspective, I have the staff perspective, the committee perspective, the volunteer perspective. As a matter of fact, 2018 top 3 district finalists for Volunteer of the Year perspective. And I just appreciate the opportunity and you coming out this evening. I know it's late.
It's not late yet, trust me. Okay, number 6, Jackie Lesh. What are your core values?
So my core values are, I have a few different ones. The first thing I want to say is I would use my heart, because to me, I am a very loving person, a very caring person, and for me to work with students every day, it's my joy, it's my passion. Like I said, I actually am in classrooms every day working with students, and to see that joy on their face when they have an aha moment, when they finally say a word or learn something new that you have been working on for weeks, for me, that just touches my heart. I'm also a parent, and that also is very caring, because when I look at students, I look at them as they're my own. I understand from a parent perspective how everyone feels about your child. How everyone has those same hopes and fears, and I respect that and I listen to that. I also, as an educator, I like to do my research. So part of my values is to know what's going on, to learn the information, to hear about things from all sides, be a great listener. These are values that I would take with me onto the school board. For those who know me, they know how the last 10 years I have put so much of my heart and soul into my students, into my own children, into all the schools that my kids have gone to. And it's not just about them. And it's not just about their 3 schools. It's about all 39 schools and all 26,000 of our students. Someone needs to advocate for them, make sure that they get the best education that fits each of their needs. As a licensed educator, there will not be a licensed teacher on our school board. And I'd like to fit that bill. Thank you.
Number 5, Thomas Levalley. Will government funding direct your decision making? Will government funding direct your decision making?
No. We get our funding primarily from the state, also through local taxes. You all pay your taxes. And clearly we have to live within a budget. That's obvious. And there are probably certain things we could do if we had more money, but we don't. And so I'll say we make do with what we have. And I think District 20, by the way, if you may not know this, but we are just about bottom feeders when it comes to per pupil revenue. PPR is sort of the big number that amount of money that we get. It's a little more than $8,000 per student this year, and we get just about the lowest of any school district. I think D38 is the only one that's below us in the state. We do very well with the money that we have. Do I wish our teachers could get paid more? I do. I think our teachers are extremely valuable. But we make do with what we have. And I think we do an excellent job with what we have. And so what is important is the education of our children. You don't need a fortune to do that. We have demonstrated that in D20, that we will work with the money that we have, and we will teach our children with excellence. We will teach them with the knowledge, skills, and character necessary. So I'm not one of those that says we have to have more money, more money, more money. That's the answer. I don't believe that is not the answer. In fact, if you look, Washington, D.C. has the highest per pupil revenue of, I think, anywhere in the country, and their scores are abysmal. I taught math up at the Academy a number of years ago. I actually did a analysis of per pupil spending per state and how well they did on testing. There was no correlation, none. So don't think that more money equates to better academic outcomes, because it doesn't. Thank you.
Number 10, Jason Silva. What is your strategy to implement your ideas when you're the lone vote?
Strategies to implement my ideas if I'm the lone vote. To be truthful, articulate where I stand on things, make sure that I show that I have spoken to the parents, conferred with people, sought the most information I could possibly find, and present it in a manner that is clearly articulable to the board to come with that vote, to make my stance known. It's very important to be able to talk to people, to get that point across, and to work with everyone in order to gain that vote. But at the same time, you're going to have to come with facts. You're going to have to come with statistics. You're going to have to come with an open heart. And you're going to have to come with a way to articulate what needs to be done. And if that's where I stand on, I'm not going to back down on it. You know, that's what I believe in. That's where I'm going to be at, and that's what I'll do. Try to articulate my position on that.
Number 2, Brian Quorum. What role do parents play in your decision making?
Can I clarify that? What role do my parents play, or what role do parents play?
And I don't care. I'm just kidding. What role do the parents within the district play in your decision making?
Thank you. All right, just had to make sure I heard that correctly. What role do parents play? Parents can play multiple roles in the decision making. I come from a therapy background. My goal is to include every family, to hear every voice. We have 26,000 students in our district, at least. So it's important to listen to every family and figure out as many situations as we can and incorporate as many voices, parental voices especially, into our answers. The cool thing about District 20 being a choice district is that you can actually actively engage in a lot of those processes. So curriculum, for example, is in the district office before we ever teach it. You can go and review it, you can give your feedback on that. The classes, you can choose to attend a class or not. That's part of the choice process. You have the freedom and ability to do that. I think that's fantastic, because that's the way that you can make sure your voice is heard and make sure that you also have choice in your child's education. I want to circle back to the what guides your decision making. This kind of plays in. I believe in the 7 habits of highly effective people. My favorite one is habit number 5, seek first to understand, then be understood. I think that's absolutely critical. When you are talking with someone, if you just spout off your opinions, you're never going to learn anything about the other person. Seek first to understand, and then come back to what your process is or why you're doing the way you are, so that you better come to a middle road. So what guides my decision making is, how can I help? How can I best serve? How can I make sure that we incorporate the best for all of our students?
I'm sorry. Hey, I have the microphone. We are not in District 20. We don't live in District 20. But bringing up Stephen Covey, you just got my wife's vote. Number 3, Nathan Johnson. Who are your major financial backers?
Who are my major financial?
Who are your major financial backers?
For the campaign?
For school board.
Me. So, no, it really is me. And I told my wife this before I officially made a decision to run. I didn't want to try and get a ton of money from a ton of people. I didn't ask my family for money. I never asked anybody for 1 penny. And I don't want strings. I don't want any strings attached to me. And that's the truth. So, I mean, I'm fortunate to be in a spot where I can self-fund. I know not everyone's in that spot, and it is what it is. But I'm fortunate enough to be there where I didn't have to ask one person for money. I did have a handful of generous people donate money, which is awesome. So I'll never turn down donations, but I'm not seeking them. So I am my biggest financial backer, but I do love it that people have donated because it shows they're passionate, it shows they want change, and at least for me, it shows they support me. So that's awesome. Thank you for those of you who donated.
Okay, number 8, Michael Riffle. What is the main reason you decided to run for school board?
So again, as we looked across the country, we've got an administration that's going to be pushing things down to our kids in what they call a great social experiment. I would rather be on the other side of that than seeing what's happening to those parents that are getting arrested, that are getting the FBI, set at them. I don't want to be that part. And I don't think you guys want to be on that part either. And that's why I'm running for the school board, is so that we can prevent that from happening. I'm going to circle back to who's my major financial backer. As a standalone candidate, it's BioLife. I am literally bleeding for this. I am donating plasma to pay for my own campaign. So I just want everybody to know, if you're stealing my signs or anything like that, I am paying for that with my blood. So let's not be doing that. 2, I'm going to go over to another one that says what guides if I was a single vote. It's easy. We all know this is easy. Is it moral? If it's moral, then it's yes. If it's immoral, then it's no. You can't divide the lines anymore. And then the 3 things for my character are simple: God, family, country. And I think we all believe that. Am I representing God? Am I representing my family? Am I representing the country in everything that I do? And I'm not a perfect man. I fall short. But I try to correct my course and get back on track so that we can glorify God in the way that He intended us to do so. Thank you.
Lindsay Moore will answer our final question. Lindsay, what is a weakness that you have?
Ooh, what's my Achilles heel? I would say my Achilles heel is wanting to be nice. I love you all. You have amazing, beautiful faces. The other Achilles heel I have, I'll admit this openly, is sometimes I'm so much of a fighter that you can't get me to back off. I will not quit fighting for you. I was an athlete. I was a defender. I spent many, many hours in the defense, and there was no way I was gonna let that ball get in the goal. And right now, we're facing the goal. Right now, we have people breathing down our necks, putting illegal mask mandates on our kids. They will not relent. You need to know that I will not relent. I will not give up. I will not quit on you. You come to me, you tell me your problems, you tell me. My door is open. It will always be open. You can email me, you can bang on my door. I don't care. Come see me. Come talk to me. My heart is on my sleeve. I am here to serve you. I have served my country with my husband for the last 16 years as a military wife. I have served our community in any way, shape, and form that I could. I have ran with your kids in Land Sharks when they were wearing masks. Y'all, they made them wear masks. And I was there to make sure that your kids were not falling down. I was there to make sure that those kids were loved and taken care of. So if I have a fault, it's loving you too much and being too fierce, because you guys are my biggest priority.
And as Lindsay started to say she ran into your kids, I was starting to think, ooh, she was tackling kids, but then she cleared that up. Land sharks. All right, so please, let's give our entire panel of candidates a hand. I want to thank you all for remaining peaceful. We are going to allow them to rise up and go to their tables where they will prepare for you all. If you don't mind, I just need you to stay here for a few more minutes while they go get themselves settled. Let's give them another hand as they exit.